RTCA is valid. We are admiring their culture that is not racist. If people are allowed to change genders, why can't we change cultures? We're giving each other RTCA people tips, and if you don't like that, then don't watch us. It's like transgender. They don't feel comfy if they're OG gender. We don't feel comfortable in our culture. Please support us. I have heard about this shit. RTCA is valid. I've heard about this shit. It's just like, I think it's like a anti-trans 4chan operation that has like gotten out of control, maybe. How to become Vietnamese tutorial? What? Please know it's a fun day. I mean, this is pretty funny. The thing is, what is it? Like, there is a medically documented phenomena of transracialism, but it only comes from adoption, right? Like, as far as I understand, that's it. Like, that's the only type of, like, genuine and valid, at least medically documented circumstance for that level of behavior, or that kind of behavior, that kind of thinking. It's like a psychologically documented phenomena. Or it's not medical, it's sociological. No, but it is medically documented as far as like psychiatrists. Like there have been people have written on the subject. It's not biological, of course. It would not be how the fuck would it be biological? But that's pretty much it, and it usually surrounds a marginalized or minority group, like a member of a minority group being adopted into a white family, or sometimes vice versa as well. But this kind of stuff is more so just like, oh no, I am, my brain is broken from TikTok, and now I'm Japanese. My dream name is Akari Kobayashi. I've always felt connected to one place, one race. What? I believe I can be Japanese? What the fuck is going on, dude? Sean the Black has clips. If you want to see how wild these people are, watch this and the next 2 videos on this page.
I finally found an RCTA server. So I have to do this template thing, and wait, should I actually get like a Japanese name or something? Oh shit, bro, I was filling this shit out, and they're already discussing who not to verify.
Wait, they said don't verify this person? Why? Too old? What the fuck?
Too old? 27? Too old to transition? What's happening?
And your reason for RTCA is not valid.
For RCTA is not valid? Because I love Korea? Wait. You clearly don't know what it means to be RCTA.
Wait, so these people in the fucking Discord are like taking it super seriously? Like they are. So, I think this is a perfect example of how first of all, I love that they're gatekeeping race swapping. Okay? Like, that's awesome. Like, imagine being a fucking hipster about your psychosis. We can't let Berry-chan find out about this? This is kind of like the shifting trend a few years ago. Yeah, but even... Yeah, I think a lot of this is just like young people being online. I think that's where like the overwhelming majority of this comes from, it seems. Oh boy, my first HasanAbi stream. I wonder what he's talking about today. We're talking about transracialism. Great video on medically documented transracialism. Yeah. This phenomena was first encountered in the 80s by David Fenton of the Vapors Band. I got your picture of me and you. Oh, Nuka Zeus. I forgot about this guy. This guy is crazy, dude. Yeah, this guy is like, I mean, dude, it's so crazy. It's so fucking nuts, dude. This shit that happens is so nuts. I forgot about this guy, dude. Holy fuck. Do you guys remember him now? Nuka Zeus on what made him decide to do skin injections to become black. I did a video on him too. This tradition today is being held up by singer-songwriter John Mayer. What do you mean? Your hair is brown. Your eyes are hazel. And soft as clouds. I often kiss you when there's no one else around. This song is, by the way, about jerking off so hard you squint. Ah, the 80s. A wonderful time to be alive. He's trans-Japanese because of his Visvim obsession. Yeah, I don't think that's how that works. He does love Japan. That much I can confirm. He gave me some solid places to go to when I visited the first time, and I know for a fact that he does love Japan, but I don't think that's enough for him to be considered. John Mayer, yeah, exactly. That's just, he just likes Johns, okay? That doesn't mean he's Japanese. Do you know what the song Relax is about? Wait, what? What is it about? Relax. Don't do it when you want to go through it. What is it about? Is it also about masturbation? And like, oh my God, dude. Wait, what? It's about men sucking cock. Dude, these guys were doing cum retention. These guys were doing semen retention so long ago. I guess we haven't really changed that much. You know what I mean? Like I thought we had advanced.
RCTA? What's wrong with it?
All right, let's get back to this RTCTA shit.
Wait, I have to be careful. They're actually monitoring this shit.
Race change to another.
My chat clean, please. I'm so sorry. I just get angry sometimes seeing antis. I'll clear.
Okay, here's the thing. Everyone in this Discord server, under normal circumstances, would probably go to jail. But this is the only instance where it's okay because, like, they're literally 12. You have to understand. Look at the way they're writing. They are all mentally ill 12 and 14-year-olds, okay? Hopefully, the hope is they inevitably move away from their obsession of being extremely online or their obsession of being Korean or Japanese to, you know, more fun hobbies that gets them outside, that gets them in the periphery of like other normal human beings, and inevitably they will grow out of it. After all, there are plenty of people who were a part of the, you know, the Minecraft stan communities that used to fight incredible battles online in the 2020s. And a lot of you grew up from who you were. It ultimately wasn't, you know, as out of control as this, or maybe as insane as this, but like there are probably plenty of people with hyperfixations that back in the day would get mad at like Tommy Innit for saying he's a lesbian or something. And then there would be like a 100K like Twitter thread about how that's problematic. Like, everyone has something when they're younger. The only problem is now there's a sense of community around that something because it's online. And being online basically has this effect of being online, and the anonymity that comes with it basically has this effect of like assuming that the person that you're talking to is in your age range. And that's where all of this shit comes from. Because normally, if you saw a bunch of fucking kids in like 3rd grade having this conversation with one another, you'd be like, oh, how cute, right? third grade, fourth grade, maybe high schoolers, if they were having this conversation with one another, you'd be like, oh, these guys are like, oh, they're crazy. They're just like, you know, the power of imagination. But now that it's online, you don't immediately assume or you don't immediately see what's going on there. Like I've talked about this. I've talked about this a lot. It's kind of like, you know, I when I was younger, I loved Dragon Ball Z, and I would go in the pool, okay, and I would imagine I was fucking Goku, like going Super Saiyan and like flying when I was in the pool. Or when I used to play basketball, I would do the crowd noises myself after I fucking drop the dime or something. Like I'd be like, like I would imagine myself being Kobe Bryant. So I mean, everyone did that, and it's normal. The difference is I wasn't online, so I didn't have another community of people. Like I didn't have a community of like-minded 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds that were like, no, you are literally Kobe Bryant, actually. If you will it, you can become Kobe Bryant, like literally Kobe Bryant. So that is the problem in many respects with the internet. You can find a sense of community for all of your niche hobbies, but it also has a capacity to basically make everyone think that like everyone that you're encountering online is an adult with a working, functioning brain. And that's an issue, right? That is not the only thing to do. Shut the fuck up. All right. Anyway. Do they do the crowd noises through Discord now? No, I'm just giving you an example of like why this is happening and why it's not the biggest problem, but I don't actually know. I don't actually know how this will turn out. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I did all that stuff, I wasn't online. I didn't have this community. I didn't have any of that stuff. I was just by myself and with my friends. You know what I mean? So, doing that in the real world by yourself and utilizing your imagination without a circle to like reinforce that moment in time, I don't know if that like flips a switch and turns it into like a hallucination rather than just something that like that level of encouragement and legitimizing this kind of behavior takes it away from like turning it away from like a fantasy that you have to a delusion. Yes, that fantasy/delusion is a good word for it. People having alters was very big on Tumblr in like 2018 or maybe a bit earlier, where they thought they were actual fictional characters. Yeah. Playing pretend, though, is way more normal than trying to change your race, bro. I know. I'm saying that I wonder if me playing pretend would have turned into something that is genuinely damaging if I had what is this? The Great Hero Returns?
While I'm at the gym. I'm watching it while I'm...
The Greatest Hero, the return stream after the 821 event? What the fuck? Essential HasanAbi lore. No. I thought I was a billionaire when I was 5. Now I'm just temporarily embarrassed. True. I think that this could have a potential damaging impact on society or on young minds when the delusion turns into like something that seeps into the real world, especially because here's what I think. The more we utilize the internet, the more we are on the internet, the more we care about how we appear on the internet. There are so many people, even in this community, for example, that spend every waking moment online and rarely ever have like real human interaction in the real world. So especially with how algorithms work on social media, that can truly redefine the way you see the world and dramatically change it, especially if you have no no touching grass mechanism. You know what I mean? It's just like brain rot. And so it slowly but surely turns your life into whatever the fuck you perceive with all of that isolation, whatever the fuck you perceive to be online. And it has a capacity to truly, truly break your brain. I mean, greater examples of this happen in the Discord, or greater examples of this happen at the top of the hour where people are deluded into thinking that there isn't a 3-minute ad break only because they've been subscribed for so long, so they've never seen an ad. Because at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you could do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You know what I mean? Yeah, your digital identity becomes your primary identity, and I think that's maybe I'm old, but I do think that that's probably not good for your brain. The internet gives a seriousness to child's play it lacked in earlier generations. Yes. Especially with unfettered access to the internet. Newsom knows best. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 gift of subs, by the way. Allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. This is also partially the reason why I always try, because I know how extremely online my community is, and I know how niche our ideas are. I try to always like snap you back into reality a little bit. And I try to keep as grounded as possible by surrounding myself with normal people, normies, all the time, having interactions with them all the time, being out and about. You know what I mean? Being in public as much as I can. This, I think, helps me keep grounded and stay at least like a little bit more reasonable. I was talking to someone who's a bit of a libertarian last night, and they were like, why don't you just like move off the grid, you know, move into a compound, build your own compound. You can have all of these amenities that you love living here. And he's like, why don't you want to get away from the city? And I was like, I love being in a city. I love being around other people. I think it's great. I think it's a perfectly normal and reasonable thing. And I was talking to him about how I think that a lot of people escape into the suburbs, and that is how they become more paranoid about whatever the fuck they perceive is happening in the cities. Why? Because the only time they experience the city is through the television. And the television can tell them something that is entirely different. It can hyper-focus on, for example, it can hyper-focus on all the crime that's happening. If you live in a city, you're always aware that crime is happening around you, but you develop an understanding that it's a normal part of existence, right? It's not a good thing, but obviously it's just like something that happens. It's not as terrifying as you think it is when you live in the suburbs and you look at the city from the television. I think COVID did that for a lot of teenagers, by the way. I surrounded myself with people like this back in 2020 and 2021, but they deluded themselves into thinking they were fictional characters. So I kind of get the mentality of these people. Was also extremely depressed during this time, so that definitely contributed to it. So glad I at least grew out of it. Yeah, I think that COVID was a big reason for why people got like as wild as they did. It fucked everybody up. Also, I think there's a material analysis to be had here in terms of how much time and identity school/work can take away from you. Like I had this issue a couple years ago where due to my full-time job taking all my free time away and all I had left was Twitter, so the cringe parody accounts I ran sort of became my entire identity beyond work. Yeah. It's like someone who doesn't drive hearing about all the accidents on highways and freeways, etc., and is terrified to drive. Exactly. And that is a much more normie adult fear that happens all the time as well. Now kick that into overdrive and put the malleable mind of a child there instead of the malleable mind of like a conservative adult living in a rural part of town, only watching television, and you understand what we have in front of us. Ultimately, though, the fix to this always is mixed income, diverse, urban neighborhoods. Okay? It's true. That's how it works. Walkable cities, public transit, and mixed income urbanism. This is how you fix a lot of the issues. Public parks is how you fix a lot of the issues with touching grass. And I think that America has always been a powder keg, and it's gotten worse and worse in recent years as a consequence of COVID really kicking this mania into high gear. Yes, we are hyper atomized. I think the more extreme stuff will say isolated to the online space. The question is how online they'll be, which ultimately comes down to walkability and real world responsibilities to help outside world interaction. Yeah, but the more the internet becomes a part of our everyday lives, the more you can get away with just staying online. You can just do your work online. You can make your living online. You can get away with never leaving your house. I myself am a great example of this. There are times when I stay indoors in this fucking room or in 2 different rooms of my house for the most part for 24 fucking hours. You know what I mean? Especially with like delivery services and everything else. Like, there is so much time that you can spend indoors. Obviously, I don't. Those are unique moments, and it's not normal. And I try to stay away from that because I notice myself becoming more unhinged. And then there's also this other side. I live in a 2K population town. I only leave my house to work and get food, nothing to do. Exactly. There's also that as well. So, you know, this is something that impacts everyone from children all the way to adults. But the most extreme circumstances of like the RCTA, which is, what is it? Race change to, what is it? What was RCTA? They wrote it here somewhere. Race change to another. The reason why this happens is because like of all of the problems that I just mentioned. One could look at the hikikomori crisis in Japan and the anti-feminists of South Korea as a starting point of people being hyper online with a younger generation. Yeah. No, it's not. Race change to Asian is the alternative. That's funny. All right, so let's see the next videos that this person made. Pure incel. Where is it?
Okay, I posted my thing and I'm waiting to get verified.
I gotta pee.
I really tried to make it so that I wasn't like too obvious. Holy shit, I got verified. Oh my god, I have access to the rest of the channels. Bro, someone posted GFA as progress. Sorry, the pic is low quality. I took it on my old phone. Oh my god, that's really good. Dude, what methods do you use for the eyes? Because usually I just pull my eyes back. Oh my god. They're a troll. I banned them. Actually, I'm heartbroken. Why did I believe them? Don't worry, people lie all the time. Okay, I posted my thing and I'm waiting to get verified. I really tried to make it so that I wasn't too obvious. Holy shit, I got verified. Oh my god, I have access to the rest of the channels. Bro, someone posted GFA as progress. Sorry, the pic is low quality. I took it on my old phone. Oh my god, that's really good. Dude, what methods do you use for the eyes? Because usually I just pull my eyes back. Oh my god. They're a troll. I banned them. Actually, I'm heartbroken. Why did I believe them?
Okay. Don't worry. No worries. People lie all the time. Yeah, like you lying to yourself that you have changed your race. You think hyper online people will vote conservative or otherwise? Kaya, come here. Why are you laying over there? Come here. Come here, baby girl. Kaya did not sleep in her crate last night. You're a good baby. Okay. What a nightmare. A Discord full of Ollie Londons. I see that dog every day and I'm still astounded by how big she's getting. Yeah. If too much work inside time for a person is bad, then moving the labor force to remote work be bad in the future. So, having the labor force work remotely is only good because it gives you a sense of autonomy over your own life. If you had that sense of autonomy in a workplace, or working from home doesn't necessarily mean that you'd never actually have a sense of community. Your sense of community shouldn't only come from the fucking cooler that you visit every now and then in your workplace. Your sense of community can come from so many different places. This is why a lot of other social formations are actually pretty successful, like church groups and whatnot. You know what I mean? Even if there are some more toxic elements involved in that sort of thing. That's such a childless take. Well, exactly. There's also so much going on with work from home that gives you the flexibility to like live your life and be able to take. The RCTA community watches manifestation videos to get monolids. Powerful, charming, monolids, subliminal. The older I get, the more I understand why churches are so useful for society just in terms of building a community. I mean, hobbies and having more autonomy in your own life, and then a more productive outlet that you develop through things that you pursue, not for wage labor, but for your own personal journey, for your own personal development, would quite literally be the successful thing to do here. But a lot of people don't have that. That is an unimaginable reality for many due to capitalism. What is this? Kai and Phantom confronted a Japanese man going through it and gave him a rare 2,000 yen bill. Okay, anyway, let's finish this first. We'll look at that later.
People be posting their fucking... Do I look more Hispanic? Not really. It's crazy. This is when I started. You look more Hispanic before. Now you look less Hispanic. What could I be doing wrong? Nobody said anything in the...
We all agree this is racist. I think these people are so sad that I don't even know. I feel like it transcends being racist at that point. It's like... Racism comes from like having a level of historic power that you're tapping into. Like if we're thinking about it more spiritually, I guess, when you're racist, race fetishization can come from racism as well. Race fetishization can come from racism, obviously, in many instances, but it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like so sad. It's so sad and it's so weird and it's so mentally unwell that it's not malignant, is genuine stupidity. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. You know what I mean? Like when I say racism, I'm thinking of like a sense of disgust, a sense of like proximity to power that a person feels they have. Like a white person can feel powerless, but the at least I'm not a black person mentality is more often the motivating principle behind it, right? Like that's usually that is the guiding principle behind white supremacist thought in the post-abolition Reconstruction era, which was very successful at driving a wedge through class politics. So I don't know. I feel like these people are like too mentally unstable to I don't know how to describe it. I mean, there's still definitely a tremendous amount of fetishization, which is still inherently racist. So but I don't know. I feel like it's like different. It's like a different category. You know, there's also a history of different racialized groups trying to pass being white to get out of the oppression. Yeah, but that is seen as a mechanism of survival, and it's like a significantly more understandable notion than someone who's white who's fetishizing like an Asian person and fantasizing about becoming Asian. You know what I mean? Because the RTCA groups, for the most part, are probably white people. Like they're dominated overwhelmingly by white people. You know what I mean? It also partially probably comes from remember the conversation that me and FD Signifier had about how FD Signifier brought something up that was really interesting that I had never considered, where he said, "You're spicy white," which means that you already have like something that is very different than like the powerful, dominant whiteness that most white people are. So that makes you safe because you are white, but it also somehow makes you exotic. He even said that's precisely the reason why like a lot of um I don't know, like he said like a lot of white people that are in this space are oftentimes not just like white in the way that you understand it, like a Minnesota born and bred German boy, but instead like white passing or white Hispanic, things of that nature. Do you see what I'm saying? So that I think, despite my whiteness, that I think gives me a different experience. So I don't have any kind of. So how do we explain Ludwig? I mean, Ludwig is perfect. Ludwig's a perfect example of this. I mean, he's great. His politics are great. He's a great guy. He consistently will say he's French. He's I think Swedish, Spanish, even at times. Like Ludwig is a great example of that, where like whiteness is such a powerful concept that a lot of people that fall under that whiteness category oftentimes will feel a sense of being the default and will turn around and look for additional things that they can hold on to that say, no, I'm a little different. Does that make sense? No, I'm not just like regular white. Like, come on, I'm this, I'm that. And I think this is basically that on overdrive. Like that's a normal thing. That's a normal feeling to want to have, to not just be default, to be like a little bit more different, to be a little bit different than like the default character. This only exists in American culture? Absolutely. What we are talking about is absolutely American white people. For all the Europeans, for all the people that are watching from anywhere outside of the world, I am currently exclusively talking about American whiteness, because this nation was designed and built around the fundamentals of like the black white paradigm and white supremacy. So it is certainly a little different than other places in that regard. Obviously, this is not to say that there is no anti-black racism or whatnot in other Western nations. Of course there are, but we're talking about like a consistent need to find and draw from this like mythological culture that you have created. And when you don't have, 200, 300 years of 400 years of tradition and culture to draw from in the same way that like a lot of European ethnicities can, for better or for worse, you find yourself in this pit where you have to say, well, I'm French. I'm French, actually. My parents are French. Or I'm German and this is my Germanic heritage, American whiteness has the capacity to, once it brings you into the fold, it has the capacity to give you, obviously, a tremendous amount of privilege, but it also has that that effect of just painting over your entire heritage, your entire background. Obviously, the most forcible version of this, which is not the same, but a very obvious version of this happened with black people, and it happened through historic violence, right? Which is why there is a real pointable black culture in the United States of America, because that culture was created out of oppression. That culture was created out of slavery. That culture was created when black people, African men and women, were stolen, robbed of their own individual identities, their ethnic backgrounds, and were through the sequence of violence and oppression and slavery and other forms of systemic oppression that still permeate through every orifice of society in contemporary American experiences, still have like an identifiable, tangible, pointable culture. That culture was created. White people do not have that because it's the default. So for that reason, I think that a lot of people try to point to something to say, no, I'm not like just default. Here's some of the differences that I have. Whiteness is a social construct, so those of us who are white want to distance ourselves from the white of white supremacy. As an American Jew, I very much dislike being called white. Yeah. You follow Hugo Decrypt for French news? I met him. Great guy. I'm going to see him again soon.